So, welcome viewers to another edition of the participant testimonial for our virtual brain-based coaching program. And today, let me introduce to you Ananya Pathak. She came in, Ananya, which batch did you actually join? Which month?
Oh, I think August.
August, which was middle of the lockdown, I think. So
You were in
thank you so
lockdown.
much, actually. So she joined in, and that was a virtual session. Those were the virtual days that we were doing completely virtually. So welcome to this very brief chat, Ananya. I'm going to just ask you a couple of questions and hope to see, hear your views on it.
Thank you so much for the invite, Showman. Thank you.
Welcome again. So let's get started and dig right in. What made you choose brain-based coaching?
Interesting. So I think, I was exploring a lot of options because I wanted to step into coaching. So as you know, I've been in the training and the L&D line for over 15 years now. So, I wanted to look at coaching. And I remember looking at a lot of options out there. And then I came across this book called Your Brain at Work by David Rock. And I was absolutely in awe of it. The material, the content, the neuroscience perspective that was brought in throughout those small scenarios. And I think then I reached out to a few folks at NeuroLeadership Institute, you being one amongst them. And I got a lot of answers. And I realized that though there are a lot of, content, material and coaching out there, but this is something that was structured. The content was really interesting. And I could see that through this, there was a lot of value that I could bring into the programs that I was already conducting or that I was planning to conduct. So that's how I landed in BBCC.
Absolutely. You referred to neuroscience as you were speaking about your reason for coming in.
Yes.
Did the neuroscience within the program excite you?
Yes. Definitely. In fact, there were so many insights, things that we didn't know as to why this is happening. Like, let me take for an example about habits, right? Creating new habits. So most of the time when we talk of habits, we focus on what we see, right? The behaviors and the results, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. So there's so much underneath to explore. So I like those neuroscience tips of, how you can work on the feelings, the thinkings, helping your coaches regulate their emotions and how you use the veto power. In fact, the veto power was a really interesting insight. I never knew that. We have heard so many quotes, the space between reaction and responding and all that, but how is it happening in the mind? Those were really interesting. And so that's what neuroscience brought in.
That's absolutely. I think what you mentioned makes a lot of sense because when you know why we do what we do, it just makes it a bit easier for us to coach.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell me from an application perspective, now that you've been a brain-based coach and you've completed a very long journey into this, it's a pretty intense course, I must admit.
Intense but interesting.
Thank you for that. But tell me, how's this changed the environment around you, your people, the work that you do, your other professional commitments? Has it impacted it?
Definitely. I see, like, in terms of value addition, I see that we've been able to create a lot of value in the programs that we conduct, in the offerings, what we offer to our clients, for the leadership programs. I also see a sea of change in the way I carry out my conversations now. So what happened was that, I was never comfortable with silence. Silence was not my comfortable space to be in. So if I would ask a question, I would also kind of get ready to give the solution. So I think after going through this BBCC program, I'm comfortable with silence, and I've seen how powerful it can be and how empowering it is when a participant or a coachee is able to generate his or her own insights. So yes, I see a lot of value addition, in the offerings that we have now.
So, I'm intrigued, and I must ask you this question because, you run your own training organization.
Yeah.
And as facilitators and trainers, we are used to telling people and sharing all our knowledge, right? We want to be helpful to people, as we say. But actually, as coaches, we want to be useful to people, not helpful.
Absolutely.
So, how is this knowledge, this huge world of knowledge, the body of knowledge that you've gathered on coaching, how is it helping you to sort of take your training journey forward?
Well, when you just mentioned this, that as trainers and consultants, we are very quick to give solutions, right? And that realization that my solution may not be the solution for the other person, because for a multitude of reasons, right? So even in the training industry, the way we conduct our conversations, there is a lot of impact that these coaching conversations can bring in. Neuroscience can bring in those changes. So let's say, if I have to give an example, using the SCARF model, that's been one of my favorites. So we always talk of reducing conflicts and how conflicts happen and how conversation should be carried on. But understanding the domains that are getting threatened during my conversation with another person, that's an eye opener. And I think those can add a lot of value in the training industry as well.
That's very interesting. And yes, they are universally applicable.
I used to set goals for myself as well. But when we went through that entire goal setting process of starting from, right from mining till shining and how you create strategies and actions. So when I use these tools and techniques in my coaching now, I see that those goals stick, those actions and strategies stick, and the coaches are able to, move from a level A to a level B, or from a point A to a point B, and they're able to realize those goals.
Any one or two top insights that you may have carried back with you, taken away with you in this program?
So many. So the top would be definitely, creating new habits, which I already spoke about, the dance of insight, how you, hold the space for your coachee while they are generating those insights, and then you create those actions for them. You get them to commit to changing habits, or, setting up a new goal, and then you follow up through till they achieve it. Then another great insight would be, I think I already mentioned it, the veto power, setting goals, listening for potential. And I think I really loved that listening for potential was very powerful for me. Yeah, so many insights from many.
That's encouraging. And yeah, of course, it is a very exciting science, and
Yeah.
We don't call coaching an art, we call it a science, as you know.
Science, yeah.
Completely scientifically, derived. So just want to ask you another question. This was a very long virtual journey. How has been your virtual experience?
I think the entire program was structured really well, right? We didn't have like classes every single day for 3-4 hours. That would have been really taxing. We had it over the weekends, on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I think we had gaps also between the sessions to work. And one thing that I really liked about the program is that it's a blend of theory and practice. So, and you're learning from some of the best coaches out there. Plus, you are getting to tap into the collective energy and creativity of the group. So I liked it. I didn't feel like it was virtual, so I'm missing out. Yes, those were a few of the questions that I'd asked the NLI team, that, since this is going to be virtual, how is it going to be different from, the in-person session? But I have to admit that it was really well conducted. So I'm all for it.
Because we designed our virtual, as you know, our virtual sessions are also designed on the principles of neuroscience. Aegis principles.
Yeah. Aegis, the Aegis model. Yes,
so you can see how powerful those principles are.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm so happy to hear that, I think we were getting scores of 4.8, 4.7 out of 5 on virtual experience. So that gave us a lot of relief that, we were doing. Yeah. So
we didn't really feel it, because I think it was really well structured, the entire program.
That's nice. Yeah. And so my last question to you is, you've learned a very interesting skill, okay?
Yeah.
And you're practicing it. You're becoming you're a practicing coach.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of interest being kindled, in recent times. What would your advice be to people who are looking to come into coaching? Somebody like you, there are hundreds, who actually want to come in, but they're not very clear. What would your advice be?
So, the first thing for me is that if you're passionate, right? If you're passionate and you believe that you want to help individuals become the best versions of themselves, then you would want to look out for a coaching program which also believes in it. right? Which also believes that, yes, there is immense potential in every individual. And as coaches, we can tap into that. We can help them realize that potential. So for me, that would be a definite lookout. And that's what I got through BBCC, right? And I think I have recommended a lot of folks out there to join this program because A is you're learning from some of the best coaches. The program, like I mentioned, is a wonderful blend of theory, practice, and once you have completed the program, you come out with, equipped with a lot of tools and techniques that you can use to, facilitate really powerful and insightful conversations. And I think that's something that is really attractive about the entire BBCC program, because it doesn't talk about do this. We also look at why we are doing this.
Thank you so much for your time today, and have a great coaching career ahead.
Thank you so much, Shoman. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for those words.